All right, let's just get right into it. When you hear the name John Terry, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For millions of people, it's one of the most famous names in football, period. But the story, well, it's way more complicated than just what happened on the field. So, who really is John Terry? Well, for starters, and this is kind of funny, there are actually two famous guys named John Terry. Over on the left, you've got the American actor, born back in 1950. You might know him from the TV show Lost, or as Felix Leiter in the Bond movie The Living Daylights. But we're here to talk about the man on the right, the footballer. Born in 1980, the guy whose name is basically synonymous with Chelsea and the England national team. For anyone who follows football, this is the John Terry they know. His entire identity, his reputation, it's all built on these three simple, powerful words. And this quote from Chelsea's own website, it just nails it, doesn't it? Captain, leader, legend. It's so much more than a nickname. It was basically a banner, a promise that he carried while leading the club through its most dominant era ever. He wasn't just another player out there. He was the heart and soul of that team. And man, what an era that was. Just look at this timeline. It really shows you the incredible staying power he had. Kicking off with his first Premier League trophy in 2005, right through that historic Champions League win in 2012, all the way to a fifth and final league title in 2017. He wasn't just a passenger, he was the one driving the bus. And it all boils down to this one number, 15. 15 major trophies with Chelsea, and get this, all but one of them were won while he was the captain. I mean, that's just a staggering amount of silverware. It absolutely cements his place in football history. But his legacy isn't only defined by what he won. Because in 2011, something happened that would change his public image forever. It led to one of the most talked about court cases in the history of English football. So here's what happened. During a really heated match against Queen's Park Rangers, video surfaced that seemed to show Terry directing that awful racist slur at another player, Anton Ferdinand. Now, Terry's defense was that he was just sarcastically repeating what he thought Ferdinand had accused him of saying, but the incident immediately blew up and sparked a police investigation. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, and you got to pay attention to the legal stuff here. Terry actually faced two completely separate hearings. First, in a criminal court. The bar for guilt is incredibly high. They have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And in that court, he was found not guilty. But then, the Football Association, the FA, which governs English football, held its own hearing. And their standard of proof is much lower. It's called the balance of probabilities, which basically means, was it more likely than not that he said it as an insult? And under that standard, they found him guilty. So what did all that mean for him? Well, the fallout from the FA's decision was massive. A 4-match ban, a huge fine, and crucially, he was stripped of the England captaincy. That move prompted him to just retire from the national team altogether, saying his position was, in his words, untenable. This whole thing was way bigger than just one player. It forced a really difficult but really necessary conversation across the entire sport about racism, about what gets said on the pitch, and whether the people in charge were really equipped to handle it. After he finally retired from playing, the John Terry story took another wild turn. He swaps the football pitch for the world of high-end real estate and built a completely new and incredibly profitable identity. And get a load of this number, £47 million. That's the estimated value of the property portfolio he's built since hanging up his boots. The guy has developed a serious reputation as a smart real estate mogul, buying, fixing up, and selling these massive luxury mansions in Surrey. He's reportedly made tens of millions in profit doing it. But his life after football isn't just about building a business empire. Another side of John Terry has started to show itself, a side that's focused on giving back. In 2024, he officially launched the John Terry Foundation, and its mission is super clear: to help kids and young people who are dealing with poverty, illness, or disability. The whole point, as they state it, is to remove barriers and create opportunities for those who need them the most. And right out of the gate, the foundation's launch was a massive success. Its very first charity event, a golf day, raised an incredible £300,000. That immediately showed it could make a real impact and built some serious momentum for its future projects. So, with all this going on, what about his future in football? Well, in a recent interview, he was pretty honest about it. While he always dreamed of one day managing his old club, Chelsea, he now feels like that ship has probably sailed. He admitted he's just been away from top-level coaching for too long. So, we're left with this question, right? You have the celebrated captain, the legend with a room full of trophies. You have the guy at the center of a huge racism scandal, the multimillionaire property developer, the philanthropist. He is all of these things at once. It really makes you wonder, how are we supposed to remember public figures whose lives have such incredibly different and conflicting chapters?